Sriya Kundu. And right at the top of the segment, we have breaking news coming in from down south. This is DMK's fresh attack on TVK chief Vijay. After BJP, DMK now takes pot shots at Vijay. Tamil Nadu minister says Vijay is speaking from behind screen. Durai Murugan has come out to in fact say that let Vijay come outside first. BJP takes the weakened Neta jibe at Vijay. So there is a lot that's happening in the Tamil Nadu political environment at this given point ahead of elections. Let's in fact listen into what Durai Murugan had to say on actor Vijay.
வேணால் என்ன பேசிக்கிட்டு இருக்காரு வெளியில் வரட்டும் பார்ப்போம்.
சனிக்கிழமைகள் மட்டும் கேம்பெயின் வச்சிருக்காங்க.
அதுக்கு எனக்கு சனிக்கிழமை வச்சாலும் வெள்ளிக்கிழமை வச்சாலும் எங்கள் பணியை நாங்கள் செய்து.
இன்னைக்கு ஏன் திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழகத்திற்கு மாட்டு தேசிய ஜனநாயக கூட்டணி மக்கள் நம்புறாங்க எதிர்பார்க்கறாங்கன்னா இன்னைக்கு தலைவர்கள் ஃபுல் டைம் அவைலபிளா இருக்காங்க. நம்ம எதிர்க்கட்சி தலைவராக இருக்கட்டும் முழு நேரம் ஒரு பக்கம் இருக்கிறாங்க. பாரதிய ஜனதா கட்சியினுடைய தலைவர்கள் முழு நேரம் அவைலபிளா இருக்கிறாங்க. யார் வேண்டாலும் ஒரு பொதுமக்கள் யார் வேண்டுமானாலும் சந்திக்க முடியும். பாரதிய ஜனதா கட்சியினுடைய கூட்டங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா தினமும் நடக்கும். அதனால் தாவேக்காவை பொறுத்தவரை நான் வெளியிருந்து சொல்லுகின்ற கருத்து நாங்கள் தான் மாற்று, நாங்கள் தான் எல்லாத்துக்கும் மாற்று, தமிழகத்திற்கு நாங்கள் தான் விடிவெளின்னு அவங்க சொல்ல வர்றாங்கன்னா 7 நாட்களும் மாதத்தில் 31 நாளும் 30 நாளும் 24 மணி நேரமும் மக்களுக்கு அவைலபிளாக இருக்கும் பொழுது மட்டும்தான் ஏற்றுக்குவாங்க. கட்சியினுடைய தலைவரே நான் மக்களை பார்ப்பேன், ஆனால் வீக்கெண்ட் மட்டும்தான் பார்ப்பேன், நான் திங்கள்லேருந்து வெள்ளிக்கிழமை வரைக்கும் பார்க்க மாட்டேன்னா எந்த அளவுக்கு சீரியஸாக அவங்க அரசியல் களத்தையும் பாலிடிக்ஸையும் எடுத்துக்கிறாங்க அப்படிங்கிற கேள்விக்குறி மக்கள் வைக்கிறாங்க.
Anaga Keshav joins me on the broadcast to bring us more details into these very jibes made and pot shots taken. Now, Anaga, a very good morning to you. Let's understand what exactly has been said by each of these leaders against Vijay, and also the fact that this indeed ends up being an example of the fact that both parties are quite wary of a TVK bringing in a dent into their particular vote banks.
Well, good morning to you as well, Sriya. In fact, if you do take a look at the crowd that sort of throngs when Vijay comes, this really looks like the most practical and pragmatic decision, in order to have their election campaigns on weekends. When I reached out to TVK as to really understand their point of view as to why is it that these campaign dates were specifically chosen on a Saturday and a Sunday, TVK said that this was taken keeping in mind the well-being of school kids, keeping in mind those who go for work, because at 3 o'clock is when school kids come out of school. And if Vijay is holding a campaign on a weekday, it's going to cause nothing but utter chaos and frenzy. So keeping in mind the well-being of kids, school children, and those going for work, that is why we've kept our election campaign on weekends, is the kind of justification which TVK gives, which sounds completely practical. But the opposition, the DMK, BJP, they've all started taking jibes at actor Vijay by calling him a weekend politician, particularly the BJP's senior leader Annamalai. He has taken a weekend politician jibe at actor Vijay. Annamalai says that if you are a serious politician, if you do really want to take on the DMK, which is the biggest party in Tamil Nadu, then you've got to be available for the people 24/7, 365 days. You can't say that you're going to come out and meet people only on the weekends. That's not going to make you a politician, is what Annamalai says. He says that in the upcoming tour of actor Vijay, if he's really serious about being the primary opposition for DMK, then Vijay has to really up his game, is what Annamalai says. But the TVK says that this particular decision was done keeping in mind the kind of traffic that would cause for school children, for college-going people, for those heading for work. And that is the only reason why we've kept it on weekends, is what TVK says.
Right, Anaga, thank you for bringing us all those details with regards to what exactly does this indeed translate into at this given point for both, or rather all political parties involved. Now shifting to the neighbouring state of Karnataka. Karnataka Home Minister lands in trouble. Parameshwara unveils the ABVP Rath Yatra. Karnataka Mantri's tribute to icon Rani Abbaka. Now Karnataka Mantri at the BJP student wing bash. After DKS sings RSS anthem in assembly, fresh row surrounding Parameshwara now. So these are the details which we are in fact getting at this very given point with regards to Karnataka's Home Minister. Parameshwara, who unveiled the ABVP Rath Yatra. Remember, only a few weeks ago, it was DK Shivkumar who, in fact, had cited some lines, or rather sung some lines from the RSS anthem in the assembly itself, which had again stoked a huge row within the state with regards to why he did that. And now Home Minister Parameshwara is facing heat for unveiling an ABVP Rath Yatra. Karnataka Mantri's tribute was paid to icon Rani Abbaka. Karnataka Mantri was present at the very BJP student wing bash. And this yet again makes ripples in the very political atmosphere in Karnataka in terms of how it is being viewed, and now a debate having begun over these very events. Now, last month, DK Shivkumar, as we were just referring to, sparked this row after he sang the RSS anthem inside the assembly. Let's listen in to what exactly underwent then.
नमस्ते सदा वत्सले मातृभूमि अध्यक्षया हिंदू भूमि सुगम वर्धितोहम महामंगले नमस्ते सदा वत्सले मातृभूमि अध्यक्षया हिंदू भूमि सुगम वर्धितोहम महामंगले.
Now let me go across to Aabha Bakaya of Business Today TV with all updates of all the markets in an all-new show. Aabha, over to you.
Good morning and welcome to Market Opening on our brand new collab show between Business Today and India Today TV. It's 9 a.m. and we're here to get you ahead of the curve as markets kick off trading for the day. Let's take a look at what's hot in the corporate and financial space this morning. Oracle signs a mega $300 billion cloud computing deal with OpenAI. Stock zooms 36% overnight. Larry Ellison's 41% stake in the company makes him $90 billion richer in a single day. Bloomberg puts his wealth just $1 billion short of the world's richest man, Elon Musk. Apple slips another 3.25% on Nasdaq as the new launches fail to impress investors. Nasdaq, meanwhile, scales yet another high along with the S&P 500. All eyes now on this evening's inflation report as markets firm up expectations for a Fed rate cut next week. The Trump-Modi social media exchange yesterday is paying off with trade talks set to resume next week. Reports say Rajesh Agarwal, India's chief trade negotiator, will travel to Washington next week to resume talks with US counterparts. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal had yesterday confirmed that India was in active dialogue with the US. The European Union has likely rejected US President Donald Trump's call to hike tariffs on India and China to 100%. A Reuters report citing EU diplomats said there was no discussion on possible tariffs. India and EU are close to finalizing a free trade deal about which Prime Minister Modi also had a conversation with his Italian counterpart last evening. The Infosys board will meet today to consider a share buyback. If approved, this will be the fifth buyback in 8 years, with the last being in 2022 when the company spent 9,300 crore rupees. The Infosys share has jumped 7% in 2 trading sessions since the buyback was announced on Tuesday. All right, let's dive right into the pre-open setup and take a look at what we're going to be watching out for today as well. I also got Shailendra Bhatnagar with me to decode how we stand on the markets. But first, let's take a look at the global setup. Nifty today slightly tepid in pre-open at this point of time. Remember, we've been tracking, of course, whether or not we're going to see some kind of a festive uptick. But right now, it's just been steady as we speak, although lots of pockets of activity. IT today continuing a little bit of an uptick in pre-open at this point of time, and we'll dive a little deeper into that as well. Let's take a look at global markets and how we really are coming through from the overnight action as well. as I just mentioned, we did see a decent uptick when it came to the US overnight, and Asia this morning also pretty much intact right now. There you have it for you. S&P 500, Nasdaq, all pretty much in the green or flat. Dow saw a little bit of a downtick yesterday, just down about 0.4%. And Asian screens this morning, we're seeing a good amount of green across the board. So the setup is intact. We've got a quick check on crude, on currency, and on metals for you as well. When it comes to gold and silver, they're still looking good, hovering near those all-time highs. And, at the moment, we're seeing a marginal downtick in pre-open, but otherwise, they're still definitely trading at those record levels, just about flat right now, 3,679 on gold COMEX as we speak at this point of time. We've also got IPO action. Remember, Urban Company, that day one subscription has been at about 3.29 times the issue size, and at a 1,900 crore rupee issue size that we're looking at, the price band is coming at 98 to 103 rupees a share. So a lot of excitement around Urban Company. We'll of course be speaking to the management later today as well. Meanwhile, Dev Accelerator, let's give you a day one update there. 5.3 times the IPO size there is 143 crores, and the price band is 56 to 61. So these are a few that we're tracking. And Shringar, House of Mangal Sutra, the subscription has been about 2x, and the IPO size there is 400 odd crores, with the price band at 155 to 165 rupees a share. Let me bring in Shell. Shell, this morning we're seeing a pretty flat, steady start, at least from the pre-open indications right now. What are the top three things you're going to be watching out for in today's trade?
Well, good morning, Aabha. The top three things in the decreasing order for importance are, of course, the Nifty IT index, in particular Infosys, as you mentioned rightly. Today is the day when the board of Infosys decides about the amount of buyback they will put in charge. And, of course, defense stocks, and finally the Nifty. What we've seen in the market is that the Nifty has broken out of a range. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were saying something.
No, go ahead, Shell. Go ahead.
Okay, the Nifty is broken out of a range, and it's likely that today being the weekly expiry, you will see the Nifty climb above 25,000 as a closing level, and it will be very ably supported by defense stocks and by IT stocks, in particular Infosys and TCS. Remember, both of them were beaten down very badly. They are down about 20-25% from their all-time highs, as also the Nifty IT index for the last 2 days has been very strong, 2.7% yesterday, 2.9% up over the previous day. And this is the kind of momentum that you see now coming into markets, value buying as also buying from concerned quarters because of the kind of valuations that have come in for IT in particular.
I want to dive a little deeper on the IT pocket, Shell, and then we'll bring in Gaurang as well. But on IT, what's driving this buyback action? Let's pull up some of those key heavyweights on a year-to-date basis as well. Take a look at the kind of lag that we've seen and really understand what's driving the signal for the buyback and what it means for a retail investor.
Well, the IT index, Aabha, lost 5,000 points in the month of July and August put together. And much before that, it's down from an all-time high of about 45,000 to what it is today, 36,000. And that's mainly because of fears of, artificial intelligence taking away a lot of chunk of Indian businesses, as also the fact that globally IT spend has decreased. And that has resulted in Indian IT companies falling down substantially from their all-time highs. Remember, these are top-class corporates with billions of dollars worth of cash, absolutely zero debt, and a great track record for shareholder value creation. And this is the reason why you see a buyback coming in from Infosys. It feels that the value of its share is not well appreciated by the market, and it will announce a price at which it is going to buy back maybe 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 crore rupees of shares to extinguish them. That will create a higher EPS and therefore a higher stock price. It's a globally expected and accepted practice to improve shareholder value by buying back your share at lower levels. Aabha.
All right. Fantastic. Let me bring in Gaurang Shah. Gaurang, good morning. I'll come to you on IT in a little bit, but first, let's have the Nifty set up and what the markets are looking like. Shell has been talking 25,000 all week. He's waiting to close above that point. But we started the week on a good note with lots of positive triggers. Still looking a little flat in pre-open. What's your expectation, Gaurang? How are we going to trend?
Thank you so much, Aabha, for having me on the show. Good morning to you and my good friend Shell. Discussing and talking to him after a very long time. Of course, we've been in discussion about market some time back. Good seeing you, Shell, this morning, as usual. Well, on the markets, Aabha, I think we've seen 6 days of rally. So I think we should take a pause, maybe a flattish to a little bit of downside opening. It would be interesting to see where do we find a lower end support, but I don't think it's going to be a deep red. I think a marginal red color on the Sensex and Nifty. Stock specific, as Shell was mentioning, you are definitely going to see a lot of action. That's where the focus is going to be. With respect to the triggers in the market, I think we've had 3 recent upgrades or positive rating from Fitch, S&P, and from ENY in terms of our GDP growth rate. In terms of whatever came out from President Trump, though it is very contradictory to in itself, but anyways, we'll take it in the positive side. And the development in terms of implementation of GST on 22nd of September and how much does the consumer get benefited. Along with that, my sense is that if we are, as Shell mentioned, if we are able to maintain about 25,000 and move towards 25,100, my sense is that FIs are very short in our market. Short from them will help us gain momentum on the upside.
All right, on opening bell then, just about flat and still eyeing the 25,000, 25,100 mark. Remember, gold and silver have also been trading at all-time highs, and I'll come back and ask Gaurang whether or not that's also a factor in keeping equities a little subdued. Right, there you have it, gold and silver continuing to trade at those records right now. But market action this morning, we've got a downtick on the Nifty IT, just a marginal downtick coming in there, flat on the auto index, Nifty as well, just about flat, meager downtick right now. Let's pull up some of the gainers for you. Adani Ports, top of the charts, NTPC, Zomato this morning, some of those stocks are moving right now. We've got ONGC, we've got an outperform call coming in on TCS. That stock is one of the top movers today. CLSA, they're giving it an outperform rating coming in. So that's on TCS for you. Let's take a look at some of the other pockets of the market. So auto looks subdued, consumer, pharma, we're seeing Oro Pharma jumping up, Oracle Fin. Some of the gainers at 3-4% on some of these names, Brightcom, Oracle Fin, Oro Pharma. Some of these names are looking pretty decent this morning. And let's take a look at some of the others as well. We've got Data, Pattern, Poly Medicare, some of the other names there that are seeing 1 to 2% of an uptick coming in. Continue to pull up some of those gainers for you. IT looks fairly subdued despite the buyback news coming in. No real traction coming in on any of those majors right now. Advanced decline ratio looks pretty even actually right now. As Gaurang also mentioned, it's pretty flat. It's no clear indication either way right now. But the top, one of the top losers there is actually Infy, Reliance, no support. Nifty Bank is also tepid this morning. So no real action coming in right now. Gaurang, I want to get your take on IT as well with the buyback news around Infy. And, clearly a signal from the IT heavyweight to the market in terms of, its valuation and where it stands. But what's your outlook, for a retail investor looking at some of these blue chips? Would you pick something else within the tech pack or would you stay away altogether?
So, Aabha, we have fairly equal weight on all the 3 segments of IT. So, be it large cap, mid cap, or small cap. And we've been positive since a very long time. Even as recently post the tariff announcement made on 2nd of April by President Trump, a lot of people had written obituary for the IT sector. We remain positive because we believe that, yes, there are difficult times. No denying about that. Maybe 2-3 quarters of pain in terms of earnings would also be something that we are ready to accept. But beyond that, I think if one has to look with a 1.5 year plus kind of time horizon, I think we saw a very strong commentary from Oracle, parent company, and we saw the stock react as far as the Indian business is concerned, which was up about 10%, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday. So we remain positive. We believe that there will be some time needed to exactly understand where the US economy is headed. Interest rate cuts and positive commentary from President Trump has given a benefit to the IT sector. But this buyback news is now priced in. I think a formal announcement, and this is the fifth buyback, correct me if I'm wrong, in the history of Infosys.
That's true.
And I on the fundamental side, we don't give too much of weightage. Now, a small disclosure, since we are discussing Infosys, Aabha, that all recommendations on this show are a part of our fundamental team. Our company, Geojit or I, we do not have any personal investments, no financial interest, no conflict of interest, but we give recommendations to our clients on similar lines. So we are positive on IT, including Infosys, TCS, HCL Tech, Tech Mahindra. Amongst the mid-cap play, if you will, Coforge, LTI, Mindtree, L&T Technologies, smaller names, Science Limited and KPIT Tech.
All right, so let's note down all of Gaurang's recommendations there, and a couple of them also seeing action this morning. I want to pull up Oracle again, and as Gaurang mentioned, it is, on the back of the global news coming in, a big multi-billion-dollar deal, with OpenAI, and that's really pivoted Larry Ellison to almost the richest man in the world. 15% now, a one-week gain for Oracle. That happened just overnight, literally, and we're continuing to see traction on that stock this morning as well. So that's one of the key newsmakers that you're seeing in trade today. Shell, what else have you picked up on opening?
I think, Aabha, we'll need to mark BEML and the entire defense pack for one reason. There is news coming in that BEML will become a Maharatna PSU company from the mini Ratna that it is designated at this point of time, and you see the stock about 1.5% higher. This is news that's just come in, and a higher status basically means more financial independence for the board to take, without permission from the government of India, bigger projects. And that is something that is not only driving BEML, but the entire defense pack is also up in gains. Remember, for the last 3 or 4 months post Operation Sindoor, a lot of profit booking had happened in counters like BEL, in shipbuilders like Mazagon Dock, Garden Reach, all down between 30-25% from their all-time high. And again, value buying is back into the market. If you look at the Nifty Defense Index, it's also corrected about 18-20% from its an all-time high. And this is the reason why both defense and IT stocks are the cornerstone of this value buying that's happening in the market. Keep an eye out on BEML, BEL, Mazagon in particular, Cochin Shipyard and Garden Reach. Aabha.
All right, thanks for that, Shell. Gaurang, I just want to go a little deeper into some of the picks that you mentioned as well. You mentioned 4-5 names. If you want to just take us through a little bit more in detail on the strategy on a couple of those names, I think that'll be really beneficial to some of our viewers.
I'm sorry, Aabha, I couldn't hear you properly. Your audio was cut off.
You mentioned a few picks this morning from L&T, KPIT. I was wondering if you could go a little deeper into the strategy on some of the picks that you mentioned.
So, the sensible thing right now, first of all, how do you plan your investment strategy? That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yes, you need to look at companies which are advanced into AI, along with that, a little bit of focus into diversified product platform. So the most sensible thing to do is don't think as if there is no tomorrow. Start at current levels. There is much clarity needed, Aabha, in terms of where the US economy is headed and what is the stance, specifically with the India-US tariff-related trade agreement. So I would say that look at all three. Pick 1 or 2 from small cap, pick 1 from mid cap, pick 1 or 2 from large cap. Deploy maybe about 25-30% at current levels. And as and when you get opportunities on the lower side, add on to it. Little bit of concern with one name in the large cap IT pack, that is Wipro, on which we are underweight. In fact, we have a reduced stroke sell call on Wipro because of difficulty in earnings. So you need to be a little bit stock specific. Not anything and everything is going to create wealth for you in IT.
All right. So good advice coming in there from Gaurang, and it's clearly all about IT this morning, at least in terms of the news and, re-looking perhaps at the strategy there as well going forward. So that's on IT right now. Let's pull up some of those other newsmakers, just see if any reaction coming in there. We've got Muthoot Finance investing 2,000 crore in its housing finance arm. Let's pull that up for you, see if it's really reacting to the stock. Auto we've been talking about, and again, even an Aisha, for example, is passing on that GST benefit to consumers, but auto is looking a little flat this morning. Kotak Bank, yesterday we saw a big move with Sumitomo Mitsui offloading 3.2 crore shares, and we saw quite a bit of action coming in on the back of that. This morning, Kotak Mahindra Bank is also a little flat right now. So it's a pretty flat market as we speak. Bank of Baroda, talking about financials, has cut its overnight MCLR to 7.85%. Let's pull up a Bank of Baroda and see what's happening there, and just touch base on some of these newsmakers and see if we're seeing any reaction. Just a marginal 0.5% on a Bank of Baroda. Gaurang, I know Aisha is one of your favorites as well. You've always liked that stock. What's the outlook on some of these auto majors, Aisha in particularly, this festive season?
Aabha, honestly, I think Shell is rather more positive on Royal Enfield motorcycles. He owns one, if I'm not mistaken, if I recollect that right. But yeah, coming back to your question, I think it was not too long ago that we had a launch from Bajaj Triumph and Harley Hero in the same category, 350 plus category. I still very clearly remember that day, Aabha. Eicher Motors was trading at about 3,300 or 3,400. Both these companies announced the launch at the same day, and the stock corrected from 3,300, 400 to about 3,000 levels. Fast forward to the current situation, look where the stock is of Eicher Motors. It is more than doubled. So, newcomers will come and go, but legends will always last in the market.
Right, Gaurang.
I will agree with this. So, extremely positive on Eicher Motors, not only because of the two-wheeler Royal Enfield product platform, but also with respect to its Eicher trucks and buses, and also with respect to Volvo JV.
All right. Gaurang, thanks so much. We're completely out of time. Shell, thanks as well for joining us on the show. And we'll see you again next week, Gaurang. As we leave, let's bring you the latest news, the biggest news when it comes to Larry Ellison overtaking Elon Musk for a few hours on Wednesday to become the world's richest person. However, the 81-year-old founder of Oracle ended the day back at number 2, just $1 billion short of the Tesla founder. Ellison was nearly $90 billion richer overnight. Oracle shot up more than 40% in the past 3 trading sessions on AI outlook. Its deal with OpenAI on cloud and AI computing has seemingly excited the markets, pushing other AI stocks like Nvidia, Amazon, Google, Microsoft all into the green. And that's really what's powered US markets overnight as well. That's a wrap on this edition of the Business Today show. Do stay tuned. We'll continue to track all the market closing action for you at 3:30.
Moto G96 5G. All eyes on you.
I choose a world where